Gift Biz Unwrapped, episode 40. Life has changed over the last 4 months. Things are different.
Hi, this is John Lee Dumas of Entrepreneur on Fire, and you're listening to Gift Biz Unwrapped, and now it's time to light it up.
Welcome to Gift Biz Unwrapped, your source for industry-specific insights and advice to develop and grow your business. And now, here's your host, Sue Monhait.
Hi there, I'm Sue, and welcome to a very special edition of the Gift Biz Unwrapped podcast. Whether you own a brick-and-mortar shop, sell online, or are just getting started, you'll discover new insight to gain traction and to grow your business. And today is a totally different podcast than I have really ever done, but I felt it was needed. I wanted to talk with you about some super crazy things that have been happening to me over the last 4 months. It's just, for me, really kind of beyond belief. And I wanted to just share with you because I think these are things that could help you with your journey as well. So as I was saying, these last 4 months have been really, really crazy. I had no idea, actually, when I stepped on this path, what I was getting into. And this is going to all become clear as I continue talking, but it's leading me in a totally different direction today, and I wanted to share what's been going on. Last week, I had the amazing opportunity to be part of Scope Pass Sunday. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more as we go on, so I'm not going to dwell on it right here. But just that experience of being asked to be included in Scope Pass Sunday hit me. It was like, wow. It was kind of like a marker in the sand for me of life has changed over the last 4 months. Things are different. And the most exciting thing is it's based on the moves that I made and the opportunities that I took advantage of that have allowed me to get to this point. So I thought it would be valuable to share this with you because by telling you about my experience and what I've been learning along the way in these last 4 months could be a great example for you and give you some new thinking and insight and thoughts of what you can do in your life to also begin walking an even more remarkable journey than you already are. For those of you who may not know me and are new to my podcasts, I'm Sue Monhait. I have very recently also been going by the hashtag GiftBizGal. I, in my past life, have worked with literally hundreds of small boutique shops, all the way up to some big brands that you would know, revolving around the whole retailing online spaces. So I've worked with people on how to create a business from the ground up, what you should be naming your business, where you should be. Should you be online? Should you be a retail shop? How to get the word out, how to get customers into your shop, all that kind of thing. And I worked with hundreds of people, as I said, in my corporate life. Since then, I've also opened 2 successful businesses. The one that is currently running is called The Ribbon Print Company, and I'm going to tell you about it just for a second, just so you have a feel for who I am. The Ribbon Print Company sells custom ribbon printing machines so that people within the gifting, baking, and crafting spaces can custom print ribbon and add more dollars to their bottom line. And in doing this, we go out to trade shows quite a bit, and I've seen that a lot of people in this space need to know more. They're excellent at their craft. They know how to make jewelry. They're perfect at baking the most delicious, exquisite cupcake. But when they take those crafts that they have that they're so good at and try to turn them into a business, that's not where the expertise is. And that is why I created this podcast in the first place. And that's the type of information we're sharing with all of you here. And that's probably why you listen, to capture that kind of information for yourself. But I know that there's even more that I can be doing for the group at large. And quite honestly, those have been my plans as I've been moving forward. But these last 4 months have just catapulted the opportunity for me. And again, I want to talk to you about what's happened. My real story starts, I think, with the fact that I was very open. I have the plan that I wanted to do. I had no idea what was going to be happening, but in my mind, I knew where I was trying to go. Okay. Now, I'm one who really believes in the law of attraction. I got to tell you, I could tell you stories that would blow your mind, but I just honestly believe that putting out into the environment your purpose and your intent and having a plan and being open to opportunities that might come your way is crucial. That's one of the reasons why at the end of all of our podcasts, I offer people a virtual gift for them to dare to dream. It's for just that reason, the law of attraction. So I enter all of this with that mindset, and I've always been open to learning. You know, I do like online courses, podcasts, web versions of trainings, you know, like I've gone to social media marketing world online, you know, not in person. But my whole story begins really on a Saturday in September. I was on a scope with Subi Zimmerman, and you know, she is, if you don't know her, she is the Instagram expert, and I like to listen to scopes. Many times I'll listen to them after they've been recorded, but this particular day I was in my office, it was a Saturday, and I was able to listen to her live. And I was interacting in the comment section of the scope, and Subi said, well, listen, if any of you are going to be in Chicago and going to Social Boom, I am going to be doing a mastermind the very next day, and if you are in any way interested, let me know and we can talk. Well, within like a half a second, I put in the comment box, yes, I'm interested. How do I get in touch with you? Crazy as it is, she gave all of us, not just me, but she gave all of us her cell phone right on the scope. Isn't that nuts? So her cell phone open to the world on a scope. And I'm not kidding you, within like 2 seconds after we got off the scope, I was calling her to talk with her about possibly doing this mastermind. To my surprise, she actually answered the phone. We had a long conversation. I told her what was up with me in terms of my business. And I think automatically we could speak each other's language. Subi has been in the craft world, retail world for a long time. And she grilled me, I have to say, because she wanted people here in that mastermind who were at a certain level, I think. And I felt very honored when she said, yeah, you're exactly the type of person I'd like to have. She told me the price. It wasn't cheap. And I said, yes, I'm absolutely in. That kind of laid the groundwork for what I call my miracle weekend that just started this last 4 months of craziness. So in about the middle of September, I attended Social Boom. Now, for those of you who may not know what Social Boom is, this is a social media training weekend put on by Kim Garst and her business partner, Terry Williamson. It happened to be in Chicago, so it was somewhat of a no-brainer for me to go, although I'm out traveling quite a bit, so it was taking up yet one more weekend of time. But I just didn't see how I could pass up the opportunity if it was right here in Chicago. So I went to Social Boom, and I've got to say, you guys, write this down because it was such a fabulous event. And actually, now that I'm saying that, I'm going to be dropping a number of names of just people who have affected me and that I have been able to rub shoulders with these last 4 months. And each and every one of them is a rock star in their own right. So pen and paper might make sense for this. But in any case, the conference Social Boom that Kim Garst put on brought in leaders in a number of different industries, all revolving around social media. A couple that I'll just pull out just by way of example. Peg Fitzpatrick talked about Pinterest, but not just Pinterest, Pinterest for business. And that's a platform that I'm already on. It was really good to hear new ideas, new ways that I can make my Pinterest boards be more and more valuable for our customers. So that one was really great. Vivica Von Rosen also was a rock star. She talked about LinkedIn. And again, you know, we all pretty much know what LinkedIn is about. Some of us, I think that, in the past it was just a place to go find jobs, but it's a huge platform just for credibility. I mean, even if you're not going to totally interact all the time on LinkedIn, you absolutely should have a presence there. But Viveka brought it one step further in terms of what the value of that platform is and why you should be using and interacting with it regularly for your business. So that was awesome. And then Ian Cleary also talked about email list building. And again, very important to your business. I think a lot of us already understand that, you can be on every social media platform in the world. You can have thousands and thousands or even hundreds of thousands of followers. But if there isn't some way that you are capturing their emails and retaining that in a place that you own, all of that can be just washed away by Facebook's deciding to change the rules or one social media platform that you're really heavy on just falling by the wayside. So you're very much at risk if you're not bringing people back into your own email lists, which is really what you control. My takeaways from Social Boom, and in terms of implications for you guys to think of too, is I was there really confirming my social media strategies. What was I doing that was already working? And it just gave me the sense of, all right, so I've got this part figured out. It also gave me exposure to new ways of using different social media platforms. So, I kind of had the bases down, but I picked up some extra tips along the way. Again, really, really important. Another thing with Social Boom, the timing was perfect because Periscope's just coming out. Periscope's only been around at this point now, 8 or 9 months. And Kim Garst, who put on Social Boom, is also the one who brought forth the very first training program for Social Boom. So just getting exposure to a new, really significant social media platform was really important for me there. So that was Saturday and Sunday of that weekend. And then it followed up with Monday, that one-day mastermind that Subi was talking about on her scope the week before. So I was super excited about that. Coming out of Social Boom, already on a high, just with, of course, a million notes of what I wanted to implement, but also just some real great camaraderie with people in the audience and, being able to start meeting some of the people that I had been following online for so long. It was just a real high. And then we walked into the one-day mastermind. And it was Subi Zimmerman, who I've already talked about, the Instagram expert. She's the one who really rallied this together. And she also had Steve Dotto with her. If you guys don't know Steve, you need to follow him on YouTube. His channel is called Dotto Tech, and he is a tech genius. Whether it's Evernote, YouTube, Google Mail, Google Calendar, all things Google, I guess I could say, he breaks it down into how to use it, the intricacies of the different platforms so that you can be as efficient and functional as you can. He's just spectacular. So the two of them were putting on this mastermind on Monday. Now, there were only 7 of us invited to be there, and it was super special because you got a lot of detailed focus. And what we did is each of us was on the quote-unquote hot seat. So it was a similar format to what we all might recognize as a mastermind, but it was only one day. So this was a one-time thing. And so each of us were on the hot seat. We talked about our businesses. We talked about challenges that we were presented with right at that time. And then all of us, not just Steve and Subi, but we all got to comment and be exposed to each other's businesses and what was going on, the obstacles that they were facing. And that was super interesting and a great learning, I think, for all of us, because it wasn't just our issues we were looking at, it was everybody's issues. So just a really valuable wealth of information being shared back and forth. So I got on the hot seat pretty much. I was I was the second to last one. So people were getting a little bit tired, but thank gosh for Subi and Steve because they were still right on their game. And we talked about my business and where I was trying to go, because as I told you earlier, I already knew where I wanted to take my business as I move forward. A couple of things happened there that were really significant for me. One of them came out of the mouth of Subi, and her comment was, you need to fire yourself. She says, based on what you are trying to do and looking at my social media, and because I was really overwhelmed by everything that I was trying to do, I just didn't have it under control. She's like, well, yeah, because you can't do everything yourself. And no one had ever said that to me before. And once she said it, I'm like, oh my gosh, to have someone else really say that to me made so much sense. That was one takeaway. The other thing that I did there was I had told Subi I wanted to start getting on Periscope. And she's like, okay, well, let's do it. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. What? Right now? What? And she's like, yeah. So we did. I did my very first Periscope with her, luckily, because she could lead me and guide me and show me right during that one mastermind. So 2 really, really significant things that happened for me that day. The takeaways from there, I think for everybody, and just think about this in terms of whether you can put yourself into situations like this, is another pair of eyes on your company to be able to review what you're doing is so valuable. That can come in the form of masterminds, meetups with people in your local community, possibly through a chamber or a BNI group, who you trust, where you can form bonds and help each other with your businesses. You can also learn from what other people are encountering. You never know when that might apply to you as well. Those were 2 things that happened, Subi telling me to fire myself, and then I was doing my very first scope. And one other thing happened there too. I mean, meeting Subi in person, we had made a great connection on the phone, but meeting Subi in person really confirmed to me how much we connected with each other. Besides the fact that we both have the same name, we both have such a strong passion for our businesses and what we're trying to do in terms of paying it forward based on the experience we've had before. We both have experience within the retail area, specifically the crafting space. So we connected right away with that. And just overall as people, we gelled right from the minute we met. So I was feeling really, really good about the relationship. Well, Subi then offered us all up an invitation, and that was to be considered to be in the audience of Creative Live. It just so happened that Subi was going to be doing a course in November in San Francisco for Creative Live, and she had the opportunity to place people within her audience. So because I felt really close to Subi, and I also felt like she really got where I was trying to go, my hand went up in like a nanosecond. I'm like, yes, I'm in. I want to come. It did also help, I have to say, that I have a very dear high school friend in San Francisco, and I knew I'd be able to stay at her house, and she'd been asking me to come out forever, so it worked out really well in that manner as well. But I got to tell you guys, I bought my plane ticket before I was even accepted into the audience. That's how much I knew I needed to be there. Kind of crazy, but again, here's an example of an opportunity that presented itself. Had I walked away and said, yeah, I'm going to think about that a little bit. I'm not sure, want to rethink it, I may not have done it. And I didn't do it that way. I took the opportunity as soon as it was presented. It just made all the sense in the world. I jumped on it right away. So that's a big, big learning. So that was September, and that then completed my 3 days of what I'm kind of calling my miracle transition weekend. In the subsequent weeks, I was taking action on things that had happened. I started scoping, as scary as that can be. I also did take Kim Garst's class. I had mentioned before that she had the very first Periscope class. And the way I see it, why try and reinvent the wheel? If you have someone who knows what the heck they're doing and they're offering a class, go for it. I also went and took her VIP portion of the class. And the VIP portion, yes, it was a little bit more expensive, but Kim actually worked with the VIPs one-on-one, actually reviewed our scopes for us. We had a smaller subset of a group. I believe there were between 20 and 23 of us only. And we got more individual attention being a VIP. And that is a big learning also for all of us, is if you have the opportunity to go as close and as deep with these experts as you can, it's really worth it because you get more out of the experience. My feeling is with this is always learn from the very best people that are out there. Kim Garst is top of her field. So is Sue B. Zimmerman. I did her VIP program as well. So I want you guys to know I practice what I preach. When I'm saying close, I mean physically, like in the room where they're doing their conferences. Also taking the VIP upgrades whenever you can is really valuable and worth it. So I did that. I was taking both of those classes, so a class for Instagram and a class for scoping. And then I also listened to Sue B when she said, fire yourself. And I then started outsourcing most of my social media, not everything, because I still want hands-on to some of my platforms. But I hired Tina Pettis's company called Tenacious, and they are now running my social media platforms. So those of you who have been following me for more than 4 months have seen the difference in what I'm posting, how it's working. I still have input into it and I still see everything, so I know what's going out. I'll change the wording if I need to, that kind of thing. So I'm not removed from it, but I have somebody else helping me with it. And I cannot tell you, when I finally did that, I felt like a weight was lifted from me. Do you remember back in high school or college when you had those big, huge projects that you needed to do, term papers or labs or whatever it was? And when you finally turned it in, or finals, right? When you finally turned it in, it's like, oh my gosh, what a relief. That's how I felt when I had somebody helping me with my social media. It made a huge, huge difference for me. Are you guys seeing here, and are you sensing how just that one initial move right in the beginning, which was me taking advantage of Sue B. Zimmerman's mastermind after Social Boom, how these things started layering on top of each other, and one thing opened the doors for another thing, which opened the doors for another thing. Whether it's new people I'm getting a chance to meet in person, classes that I'm taking, some really serious individual eyes on what I'm doing so that they can comment and I can get better and better. It all happens from that first initial move, taking action, exposing yourself to the environment, right? So that you are available and ready when opportunities present themselves, and taking action on them. My story continues for just a little bit longer. We move into November, and I go and attend Sue's Creative Live course in San Francisco. It was a great opportunity. Again, of course, I'm throwing more money at the investment into myself. I honestly really had no idea what to expect. Creative Live is a series of online classes. It's kind of an educational website, if you will. And there'll be classes about social media, photography, different art and design, business classes, all sorts of things. And they do have a very small audience, about 10 people. The way she structured it, she had guest speakers as well. And these are serious classes, you guys. She was on stage for 2 days straight. This is the third time she's been there. The first 2 times she was on for 3 days straight. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. Anyway, great speakers there too. I have to say, a couple of people that I ended up getting to know better and learning from. One was Brian Fanzo. Oh my gosh, he was so funny. I was teaching somebody else how to start scoping. So just as Sue B a couple months prior had helped me with my very first scope in the lobby of Creative Live before we started day 2, I was helping a couple people also do their first scope. And that was so rewarding for me to be able to take it and pay it forward. But Brian Fanzo was so funny because he was on the balcony watching me show these other people how to scope. And I think he was actually scoping us too. I'm not sure. It was kind of crazy funny. He from stage also did a live scope just to show everybody how this works. And just in terms of his techniques and advice on scoping, I feel like the platform was so new. I was still really learning, and to get some really solid information and direction from him was spectacular. Sunny Lenarduzzi was also on. I think she was actually the first speaker, and she is well known on YouTube. She talks about building authority, being an expert, and making sure that people know that you're the expert. I have so much that I know about the space that I'm in. If I'm not telling people that, nobody's going to know that I'm the expert. And that's kind of a different way of thinking for me than I've ever had before. But she talked a lot about that. And she talked about part of being an expert is being found on all these other platforms, right? So all of us here in business, whether you're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, you're scoping, wherever it might be, if people aren't finding you, the quality and the value of your content really doesn't matter because no one's taking in that content, right? So she had great messages on that behalf. And then also Sue B had two of her people back at the SBZ team, Rachel Polish and Morgan Sutton, on. And Rachel talked about systems, and she also talked about hashtag strategies. So you can see all of this is really solid information. And Morgan talked about social media tools so that you can be more efficient, and strategies. Again, how Sunny had been talking about being the expert. Just massive value with that course. And FYI, you guys, you can go and get both days. I think it was close to 8 hours a day of all this content over on Creative Live if you're interested. You'll see me there sitting in the audience asking questions from time to time. You'll see Sue B in action with her whole spectacular team. She had a ton of people there. Steve Dotto was also there. Nathan Latko was there. Just a ton of people. So if you're interested, jump over there. It's not that expensive. And I'll tell you, the content is probably worth 100 times what the cost now is of those classes. Check that out if you're interested. Couple of things that I learned about attending Creative Live. Very similar to the mastermind group, the value of the people in the audience is equally as important as the people that you're learning from on stage. I met up with some unbelievably spectacular people who had also been invited by Sue B to be sitting in the audience. And one of them is Johanna Fritz. She's out of Germany. She is, oh my gosh, crazy adorable. If you want to follow her, you should go on Instagram to by Johanna Fritz. She's absolutely fabulous. And just a number of people. I guess I shouldn't even go into all of that right now. But my two takeaways really with the Creative Live experience, not only was there so much value from all the speakers who took the stage, the people in the audience were spectacular. And I've now linked up and started to form relationships with people I never would have met. We talk about the businesses that they're in, how we can help each other in terms of the way our businesses overlap and cross each other. So the value of the audience was equally as important in terms of networking and learning as were the speakers on stage. Secondly, it was really great for me to reinforce and enhance my skills. When you take any course, yes, you're going to learn new things, but it's also really good to be able to say, all right, you know what? I've heard this before. I'm doing it this way. Now I understand that this is the right way to be doing it. So yay for me. I can move on and focus on enhancing other areas of the business. You might think I'm done, but the day after Creative Live, Sue B invited me to coffee with two other people. One is Johanna Fritz, who I was just mentioning, and the other is Heather Robinson, who is with Social Tech. She was talking to all three of us about possibly getting into a coaching situation with her. Kind of crazy, just to give you a feel as to how Sue B works. I wasn't able to do this because I wasn't staying right downtown San Francisco, but Johanna, Heather, and Sue B went for a walk and talked business, and then I met them up at the hotel for coffee right afterwards. Sue B is all about lifting people higher. She talks a lot about the fact that she surrounds herself with people who lift her higher, and she loves working with other people to lift them higher. That's exactly what she tries to do with her coaching. Now, coaching, all right. Oh my gosh, I've just made all this investment in, traveling to San Francisco, back it up from there, an Instagram course, a Periscope course, and I also attended Social Boom, and all of this costs money, right? and Sue's mastermind. But then I'm thinking, okay, now, I do have a successful multi-six-figure business. I mean, the ribbon print company is going spectacular. But I feel like there's a higher calling. I feel there's more that I want to be doing, which is why I had started this podcast. And I looked at Sue as someone who was feeling the same way and was way farther along on her journey than I was with this higher calling. So when we started talking coaching, I was receptive to it, even though it is a huge, huge investment. I decided to jump in and have her coach me because she sees things from a totally different perspective that I do, yet we're so compatible in our mission and our passion and what we're doing moving forward, albeit in a little bit of a different way. She is showing me things and making me look at my business in a way that I never had before, and I don't honestly think I would have ever gotten to without her. So that leads me full circle back to this realization about this whole journey that I've been on, to be quite honest. It was just last week when I was on Scope Pass Sunday, and I got to be part of, well, let me back up and tell you what that is. Scope Pass Sunday happens every Sunday morning. If you want to check it out, hashtag Scope Pass, P-A-S-S, Sunday. Each Sunday there's a topic. The three regular people who actually are the basis behind this are Subi Zimmerman, Amy Schmittauer, who is really well known on YouTube, and Vincenzo Landino, who owns 52 Creative. And so there'll be a topic that they'll talk about, and they'll all give their own perspectives and comments and feedback. What'll happen is one person will start, they'll go for 20 minutes, then they pass it to the next person who goes for 20 minutes, etc. Friday night, Sue B calls me up and says, "Hey, Sue, do you want to take the pass on Scope Pass Sunday?" I'm like, whoa, wait, what? I said, well, what's the topic? Because I didn't want to go on and pretend like I knew something I didn't know or that I didn't feel that I would be an appropriate resource for. She says, well, we're going to be talking about hashtags, our favorite hashtags. And I'm like, all right, I am in. And I got to tell you, the second I got done with that conversation and agreed to do it, I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I just say I would do? I was so anxious and so nervous because there's a big audience with Scope Pass Sunday, and I knew it was a great opportunity for me in terms of exposure, but I was really nervous then about, am I going to be okay? Do I know what I'm talking about enough to be able to speak it well and get my points across? I felt solid in my content, but it was the relaying of the content I was really nervous about. But like I've done all the time, 2 feet, I just jumped right in. The experience was fabulous. Maybe some of you were on when I was on with Scope Pass Sunday, but it was such fun. It was a great experience, and I hope someday I'll get invited back to do it one more time. So at this point, and 4 months ago, I look back on what's all happened here. If someone would have told me all the things that I've now done, all the people who I've rubbed shoulders with, some of them I've gotten to know really on a great basis. I've had both Subi Zimmerman and Steve Dotto already here on the podcast, and I'm looking forward to inviting more people that I've met along the way. Actually, several of them are already scheduled. I would have never believed it, you guys. And the whole thing, I guess, I've been kind of talking about my learnings from each little section as I've gone on here. But I guess overall, I have 3 learnings for you to take away. And I really want you to think about this for your businesses, because the last thing any of us want are dreams of a business that we are so passionate about, that we know could be so great, and have things just step in the way and we never realize our dreams. And I don't want that to happen to you. I'm trying not to let that happen to me, and this is how I'm doing it. These are my 3 takeaways. 1 is absolutely positively invest in your business. And yes, guys, that does mean money. It's scary. It can be uncomfortable, But if you're serious about your business, you do at some point have to put your money where your heart is. Do you hear me? You have to put your money where your heart is. The other thing you need to do is jump out of your comfort zone. I'm sure some of you have heard this quote, the magic happens outside your comfort zone. So the only way you're going to get to the magic, and the only way that I got to the magic of these last 4 months, is by stepping out of my comfort zone. And I got to tell you, I was way far out of my comfort zone, and I'm continuing to stay out there. And the third point is seek and respond to opportunities that present themselves. Be open, be watching for things that cross your path that you can jump in on. Just like I did. I jumped in on the mastermind with Sue B. She invited me to go to Creative Live. I said yes right away. Then I hired out a new company to do my social media. I jumped on the opportunity to be in the Creative Live audience. And now I've jumped on the opportunity of being coached by one of the superstars in social media. And I'm not sure where that path is going to take me. I'm pretty sure it's going to be great things in the future. So I am doing this every single day, all three of these things. I'm investing in my success. I'm stepping way, way, way outside of my comfort zone. And I'm watching for when those opportunities cross my path. I'm looking at them. I'm grabbing onto the ones that make sense for me. And I am riding this wave. As my journey continues, what I'm doing is I am focusing on people within the gifting, baking, and crafting spaces. Many of these people have a passion for their product and know how to make that perfect cupcake or know how to make this beautiful jewelry. But in terms of turning this into a business and how to monetize the business, that's where sometimes they fall short. So my goal is to work with this type of industry and help each and every one of you. If this is you and this is your industry, I would like to help you unwrap your greatness. And now I'm going to turn this over to you. Won't you join me on this same type of path? It is exciting, albeit it is a little bit scary, but I want you guys for your businesses as well to take a look. Use some of my examples because I've just lived it, and I've got to tell you the energy and the excitement and just the life of the growth of a business is so, so rewarding. So feel free to join me on this journey. I am continuing to step out of my comfort zone. I have a number of things lined up, even for January, that make me shake in my boots just a little bit, but I know they're all going to lead to greatness. And I want the same thing for you. So feel free to watch my journey as it continues to evolve. And please do continue listening to this podcast because we'll be sharing other people's journeys and things that have led them to success too. And as I usually do, I end this podcast by offering up a virtual gift to our guest. And right now, I'm going to offer up that gift to you. I'd like to present you with a virtual gift. It's a magical box containing unlimited possibilities for your future. I want you guys to take hold of this gift that I'm offering you right now. Open that box, define what your vision and your passion is for the future, and take action to make it come true. And my wish for you is that your candles always burn bright.
Learn how to work smarter while developing and growing your business. Download our guide called 25 Free Tools to Enhance Your Business and Life. It's our gift to you and available at giftbizunwrapped.com/tools. Thanks for listening, and be sure to join us for the next episode.
Today's show is sponsored by the Ribbon Print Company. Looking for a new income source for your gift business? Customization is more popular now than ever. Brand your products with your logo, or print a Happy Birthday Jessica ribbon to add to a gift right at checkout. It's all done right in your shop or craft studio in seconds. Check out theribbonprintcompany.com for more information.
Would you like to be on the show? Or do you know someone who can provide valuable insight from their experiences? If so, we'd love to hear from you. All you need to do is submit a form for consideration. You can access the form at giftbizunwrapped.com/guest. That's giftbizunwrapped.com/GUEST.